Good morning, YouTube. Welcome to my channel, Simple Tesla Life, and I've got some exciting news. Yesterday I received, it started with a text message. I received a text message that said, your pickup and delivery is tentatively scheduled for Saturday, September 21st, so this coming Saturday at 5:30 p.m. So I was like, okay, cool. And then later, a few hours later, I got a call from somebody at Tesla. Actually, them and my credit union, they were trying to get the payoff on my Chevy Volt, and so we got that taken care of. And I came home last night, and sure enough, the information that had been showing is pending in the trade-in section of my order page had now been completed. It asked me to accept the trade offer, and with the payout details and all that. So all of that is now done, and I went in last night and added insurance information, and it looks like everything's good to go. I do have now two questions, and I'm going to welcome feedback and comments on this. In fact, I posted in the Tesla Model 3 Facebook group that I'm in the same question. But I am thinking now, instead of say putting money down at closing, I will remove the full self-driving as part of the the purchase price, and then add it after I take delivery, and therefore I think my view is I think I can take advantage of credit card rewards, cashback rewards, if I do this as a transaction after I take delivery of the vehicle. I still plan on getting full self-driving, but I'm thinking to myself, why not earn? Because I've learned that you pay for that naturally via a credit card if you purchase full self-driving after you take delivery. So when I posted that on the Facebook page, somebody responded that they said it was cost more to purchase it after delivery, and on my order page it doesn't say that. It specifically says full self-driving. If I include it, it's $6,000, and then it says right below that, if you purchase it after, at least as of right now, it's $6,000. So again, I'm thinking to myself, rather than put $6,000 down, I'll put nothing down. I'll then not include full self-driving, which is kind of a wash, because I was going to put about a little over $6,000 down, and then I will go ahead and pay for it afterwards. Literally, I'll drive home and I'll put it on my credit card, and then I'll just pay the credit card off and get the reward. So anyway, that is something I'm working through. And then the other thing is, I noticed in one of the frequently asked questions, it said that if I'd put my wife and I's name down as part of the registration, but then there was an answer to a question. Well, Tesla had in their FAQs, the question was, do the registered names need to match what's on the loan? And it said yes. And my loan was just going to be through my name, but I'd put my wife and I down as registrars. So I need to confirm with Tesla, is that a problem? If it is, I guess I got to take my wife's name off and just have me down on the registration. So anyway, those two things I think need to get worked out, but I don't think they should be a big deal. And then the other thing I wanted to talk about, so I'm on these different various Facebook groups, but there's one, the Tesla Model 3 Facebook group, that I'm a member of. And the other day, yesterday, somebody had posed a question. The question was, do you have any regrets purchasing a Model 3? And and this question was posted, I don't know, middle of the day or something. I didn't see exactly what time, but and by the time I saw it, literally, I think a few hours later, there were over 300 comments, and it was later in the afternoon, and I thought, well, I'll just kind of flip through these. I won't read all of them. I'll just scan them really quickly, looking for, unhappy, dissatisfied customers. And I kid you not, I probably flipped through at least 150 of those, maybe 200 of those 300 plus comments. There was, I don't remember one real, negative thing. There were regrets, but the regrets fell into two major categories. The first major category was there were people who had bought the standard range plus, meaning the 240 mile version without, all-wheel drive, and regretted not getting the long range with all-wheel drive. So that was one. There were certainly a number of people in that camp. Some of them had actually returned their car within the 7-day period, and then had to go through a repurchase experience, which would be kind of a pain, I guess. Anyway, I imagine that would be a pain, especially if you're financing. I guess if you were paying some cash and it was, anyway. So, and then the second regret was there were people who had purchased either standard range, but probably it seemed like more of them had purchased the long range all-wheel drive and wished they had gotten the performance or what's called the stealth performance, which I guess there was a manufacturing run of some number of vehicles. It sounded like a few thousand, but and it was just for I don't know why they did it, but anyway, it was for a period of time, and they created basically a long range all-wheel drive that with software removes the inhibitors to make it basically a performance car, but you don't get the upgraded tires. I think that the motors are a little bit beefier. The brakes are certainly like these much more aggressive and beefy brakes. So you don't get any of those sort of tangible, visible upgrades that show what a performance Model 3 looks like from its tires and from the brake calipers, but you get the speed of a full self-driving car. And so a lot of people on the forums, they call it a stealth, a sleeper Model 3, and again, they're very popular. I think they only charge a couple of $1,000s more, right? So normally I think the performance model is, and I'm just going off the top of my memory, but which I could be flawed here, but I think it's like $8,000 to $10,000 more. I want to say it's a long range all-wheel drive is like 48 without full self-driving, and I want to say the performance is like 58 or somewhere close to 60, something like that. So anyway, only having to spend $2,000 more and being able to get that instant speed and torque of that amazing performance vehicle, but not have to have all those other things that some people maybe don't care about. I know many do, but anyway, so those were the two regrets. Everything, almost every comment, and then there was one person that commented that, well, you're not going to find any negative responses on a fan page, so they were trying to make a point, well, you're only going to see the good here. And I thought to myself, I don't believe that. If Tesla were selling Model 3s, look, I know Tesla has had their challenges. They've had paint issues with some of them. Certainly earlier on they had it seemed like a higher incidence of panel gaps. I'm sure there's been some other issues. Look, every single car manufacturer, I don't care who they are, when you're making mass-produced vehicles, and just any company that's producing any kind of tangible product, software, things are going to have bugs. There's going to be issues. Things are not always going to be perfect. Now, that's not an excuse. There should be quality control checks and making sure before a vehicle ends up on a showroom floor or is being delivered that it's gone through a real rigorous, thorough inspection to make sure it's ready for delivery and that the customer's getting what they're paying for. So I'm not making excuses for Tesla. I'm just saying that literally every car company deals with this, every single one of them, right? So it's not unique to Tesla. But my point about that post that somebody made, that you're only going to be seeing the fan base responding, I don't believe it, because if those owners were experiencing real frustrating issues and pervasive, if the volume of them was high enough, or at least certainly significant, that most people were experiencing issues, those people, I guarantee you, would be on those forums talking about their issues. And there are people, right? There are people on the forums that come on and talk about issues, right? So everything is not roses and puppy dogs. It's real. There are people that get on there and they do complain about, getting a car with some paint issues or whatnot. Again, that's going to happen, or it will likely happen when you're, again, mass producing thousands and thousands and tens of thousands of vehicles. It's the question of how often is it happening, and again, if the over the top happy customers are 98% or 99 point something percent, I mean, that's pretty dang good. And like I said, going through those comments, I was just blown away. I was blown away. Look, I was blown away by the people responding. Now, not everybody that buys a Model 3 came from a Mercedes or a Lexus or a Infiniti or a Porsche, right? There are people trading. In fact, you go to Tesla's last earnings and quarterly call, and they actually threw up a slide showing that they are seeing a very high percentage of trade-ins from customers that wouldn't have bought in the luxury brand sort of category, which, you could argue this car is competing more in the luxury brand. Well, it is. It's competing more. It's competing in the luxury brand space with the likes of, BMW and the Mercedes at the price point that it's at and the kind of capability that the car has. But they are getting a much higher percentage of people trading in their Hondas, their Toyotas, their GM products, and you just go down the line, right? And so they're drawing people into the category. But the point of that is, if these people were having pervasive issues, they'd be saying it. And instead, what you're seeing in those comments, and I'll put tonight when I do the editing, I'll add in a video graphic so that as I'm talking here, you can see the responses I'm talking about here. But when you go through them, people are comparing this car to their, $80,000, $100,000+ cars. Now, some of these folks have the performance, but again, the performance model is it's speed, right? The base vehicle, the underlying vehicle, is the same vehicle. So they're comparing it. They're saying these incredible things about this car and comparing it to their car that they spent twice as much on, or more, certainly more than that, if it was a Ferrari or a high-end speed car. It blew me away. It really blew me away. I was expecting, say, I guess, a higher percentage of negative sentiment, because again, I do know there are people out there that have had those issues. Maybe they just haven't shown up yet on that post. I checked this morning, and although I didn't go back through the comments, but I just checked to see how many people had commented as of this morning, and it was like 400 plus, maybe 450, somewhere around there. So again, I'm going to go back. I wish they had done a poll. I really wish they had done a poll, because I would just love to see the numbers. And I really believe it would be in the high 90% range of people having no regrets. And I'm really glad I saw that, because look, for anybody who's not hasn't purchased a car at this price point for a long period of time. I've said earlier, we bought an SUV a number of years ago. Like 10 years ago. We still have it, love it. It's been a great car, and we paid close to $50,000 for it, and that was the most that we had paid for a car up until that point. So it wasn't a simple decision to invest this kind of money in a Tesla Model 3, and I've gone through in other videos, I think, what I feel are reasonable rationales for why economically that still makes sense for me. And again, we have no problem. We can afford this car. That's not the issue. But anyway, I just I'm glad I saw that post, because it helped just put all those, you know, in the back of your mind. You see 100 posts of positive things, and then you see one person that has an issue, and you're like, oh my gosh, is that going to be me, right? I don't want that to be me. And look, I don't know. We'll find out on Saturday, assuming everything goes fine and I take delivery. We'll see how good the car is. I will bring you all along for the ride. I'll take some video. We'll talk about the experience. But anyway, that's where things are today. I'm excited. It's Thursday, and so 2 more days, and I could be driving a Model 3. And the only downer, I guess, out of that is Sunday night I go on a business trip. I don't come back until Wednesday night, and then Friday night, that next Friday night, we leave on a family, where my wife and I are going on a little vacation for a week. So I'll get the car, maybe get a drive it a couple of days, and then it's going to be sitting around for 2 weeks, so, or at least a week and a half. Anyway, so that's what's going on. Thanks for joining my channel. If you like the content, hit subscribe and like, and also feel free, if you want to leave comments, go ahead and leave comments. I love comments and hearing feedback from others and your experiences, so please leave those as well, and we'll talk again tomorrow. Thanks, bye.